Okay.
It's like you were doing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Red leather.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Unique New York.
Unique New York. New York unique.
Right.
All right.
Got it?
I think so.
Great.
Okay.
Nice. Go for it.
Hey, Dennis.
Hi,
Hey.
Christina.
How
Hi.
you been?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Great. Nice.
So,
And this is
things your friends don't talk about.
woo.
Woo. Wonderful.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
So I brought up a while ago.
Yeah.
That I don't feel present. And I was like, oh, people are gonna think I need to go to therapy.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I realized something.
Uh-huh.
Do you watch Black Mirror?
No, I do
You've
not.
never seen Black Mirror.
Nope. Never seen it.
Okay.
Although I should. I've heard a lot of
Yes.
people recommend it.
Yes. So Black Mirror is literally like what we look at, right? Like our computer, our phone, TV. It's a black mirror. Yeah.
Instead of a black screen? Oh, I
It's a
guess
black-
a mirror.
Yeah.
Wait, why is it a mirror though? Not a screen.
Because you can see yourself.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I realized, at least for me,
Yeah.
that I'm spending most of my time throughout the day on a screen rather than looking at the world.
That is true.
Bruh.
Hi, gatito.
So that said,
Uh-huh.
my reality feels like it's on a screen.
Uh-huh.
So I don't feel like I'm actually here. Like, why would I feel like I'm actually present when I'm looking at you, when I'm like commuting? It literally feels like a film. Like I'm looking at the world like through a film.
So say that again one more time. Yeah.
Like everything.
Sure.
So I don't feel present.
Okay. So you
And
don't
I
feel present.
wondered why.
Right.
I was literally thinking, like, do I need to talk to someone? Am I
Okay.
depressed? Like,
Okay.
what is this feeling that I'm feeling?
Okay. Is it like present as in like you're distracted?
No,
in a
like-
way? No.
If I'm going to school, if I'm going to
Okay.
work, I'm like looking at the buildings around me. I'm looking outside and I just feel like I'm not seeing what's in front of me. Like I acknowledge I'm outside. I acknowledge that I'm going somewhere,
Right.
but it doesn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking like, am I disassociating?
Right.
Like literally, what
Okay.
is this feeling?
Okay. Yeah.
But I realize it's because I'm always on my phone. Or whenever I'm at work, I'm on the computer 8 hours of the day. And then whenever I
Right.
leave work,
Yeah.
I look at my phone. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I get
Right.
home. I look at the TV. So everything I'm doing is revolving around a screen. So I'm looking more at a screen than I am at the world, at actual people.
Interesting.
Right. So I think that's what's happening. So how could I feel present if I'm literally not present? And most of my reality is taking place on a screen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, because you're on the phone, you're on electronics most of the day. When you get home, are you off electronics
No.
at all? Oh, you still on phone?
Yeah,
You're
whether
still
I'm doing
on-
homework, I'm
Right.
doing work, I'm
Okay.
watching TV.
Is there any point in time throughout the day or during the day that you're always not on your phone, like a specific period? Okay.
And I realized actually this morning that sometimes like I'll have TikTok on in the background,
Right.
like while I'm brushing my teeth. Or I'm
so
like,
it's still on,
yeah,
but
everything, it's always on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, that's all that. And then we've said this before, like if you're on your phone, right?
Right.
If you're on Instagram, TikTok, that's a whole other world. I mean, you're seeing
Right.
different people, different
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
But like, where do you fall into the picture whenever you're looking at all of these different people? So at nighttime, I'm on my phone. I'm looking at other people, and
Yeah.
I'm like crying. I told you, like
Yeah.
I'll cry to like other stories.
Yeah.
So, but again, like where's me? Where's my story? I'm focusing on, like my whole life is taking place like on a screen,
Right.
and I think it's literally getting to me because, like I said, like it's the weirdest thing when I'm commuting to work. Like I said, it does not feel real. It's almost like a brain like fog kind of thing. Like I just feel fuzzy. Mentally, I'm okay, but when I'm actually looking, that's what I'm saying. When I'm looking at the world, I'm looking outside, it doesn't feel real.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. But is it really, I guess, a problem to feel that you need to feel present?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you feel present?
Do I feel present?
Yeah.
I think so. But
Okay.
I have to definitely make an effort to feel present.
So what does feeling present feel to you?
Feeling present. Well, I
Or
guess
what does it mean to
depends
you?
on the context. On the context. Wow. And on the context of it. So you're saying you don't feel present during your commutes mostly. Is that what you're saying? Or like,
That's when I notice it the most.
okay, when do you notice it the most?
That
Right,
I feel
right.
like what I'm looking at just isn't real.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think it's just natural to feel that way, isn't it? Because it's a commute, right? Like because you're doing nothing but waiting for something to happen.
No, I don't think that's what it is.
Okay.
It's different from like not feeling entertained or
Okay.
feeling bored
Right,
or like
right.
waiting to get to your stop.
I see.
I literally, like right now I'm okay,
Okay.
but I have moments where I'm like, what is the word? A simulation?
You're living
That's
in a
what
simulation.
I feel like. I'm
Yeah.
like a little avatar, like just walking around.
Interesting. Okay.
It doesn't feel real. And I've been, and I don't know if I felt like this before the pandemic. Like I wonder if that's a thing too.
Interesting.
But it's the most bizarre feeling, and that's what I'm saying.
I kind of get you now. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember because during the pandemic, I think the first time I went back out into the real world, it didn't feel real. Like I felt like I was, well, when I was in a car, but still, like it felt like I was literally watching a movie. Like the things
That's
in front of my eyes were just passing by me. And it wasn't until I got to my destination, which was another house, that I feel like I finally stepped back into my life. And I think I sort of get what you mean now. Like everything is just rolling past you in a way. But maybe that was it. Maybe it was COVID. Definitely, I feel like it was a big change.
That's my sink.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was your cat. Anyways, I definitely think that might have been a big impact on it. But maybe just gonna wait for it.
Hasn't done that in a while.
Of course, today of all days. I like how
It's picking up a
wow.
beat. Did you notice that?
Yeah. It does not want us to record. It's slowing down.
It's getting faster again.
Nope. Not ending. Is it picking up?
Oh.
Wait. Doesn't matter. Anyways. I think but yeah, that COVID might have had definitely a big impact on it. But you're right. Maybe it's just the fact that we have things like TikTok that that gives an excuse to not even look outside anymore. Yeah. And even what is it? Like I noticed like a lot of people on the train, they wear headphones obviously, so that way it's more immersive. And that way they also don't I don't know, like affect other people on the train or something, right? With like loud noises. Like they put headphones on so that other people don't get bothered by it, basically.
So they don't listen to other people's music?
Well, yeah, so they get immersed, but also they don't bother other people with their sounds or whatever. Okay. Right? But there are people on the train that literally don't care, right? They'll just have their phones on blast. They'll be listening to TikTok. And I feel like that it might be another thing to it, you know, like that they're starting to just blend those worlds together. Like it really doesn't matter if it's in your ear or if it's out in the real world. Like it's just become such a big daily part of their lives that at this point they don't even care that they wear headphones. And maybe that's a problem, you know, maybe that's a really big issue that we have, that it's okay to go around walking on the streets with your phone in hand, just blasting TikToks, blasting videos, you know. I think to me though, the moment I feel really present is when I look at nature. I feel like that's the moment I feel really present. And it doesn't matter what I'm looking at. It could be trees or the clouds or the sky. Right. The moment I notice it, I feel like I'm really stepping back into the world, you know? And it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I try to, I don't know, like not watch videos when I'm outside or whatever. or if I'm doing something like just put on music and have headphones on and really just observe nature. But it's tough. I
was thinking you do a lot of projects.
Okay, yeah.
So you're constantly just thinking, brainstorming, you're like practicing that, brain power.
Sure.
So I think in a way, I don't know, maybe your brain and like you're challenging your mind, like you're constantly
just working.
Yeah. Which I am too, but maybe in a different way. I don't know. Because I think we're like working on projects. I love working on projects. So, I think it's really good for the mind.
Yeah.
But then other than that, like I said, I notice a lot of like, I'll try to test myself. So if I'm like in a room with people and I'm like, Christina, like, do you feel present? Like, are you here?
Yeah.
And I still just, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm here. I don't feel like I'm in the moment. Like it just, like I said, it feels like a film over my, my eyes and then my like, but it makes me think of Black Mirror because a lot of that is surrounded by technology.
Right.
And I think there was even one episode where they were living in like an avatar world kind of thing. So like I said, in a way that's how we are because we can do everything on the phone. We text each other. We have friend applications. We have dating applications. We have, so we literally, if we didn't have to, I don't think we would even need to step outside to function.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So I just wonder, like, is it just a combination of, like we were saying, COVID, then, and we've spoken about this too, as far as technology.
Yeah.
I grew up on texting. So I think maybe in 5th grade. I don't remember how old I was, but I mean, a lot of my childhood was just being on the phone.
Yeah.
Even though the keyboard, like I was saying before, is like to say, hey, you have to press like GHDEWXY. But I mean, it was still on a device. That's how we were communicating. So as we were getting older, technology became more advanced and everything we do is on the phone. And I think you have a little more self-control, but I'll notice like if I'm bored, and my mom always says like, don't say the word bored. But if I'm bored, like I'll take out my phone and I'll just start scrolling. But what is that doing mentally?
Right. Yeah.
But I know that you said that you try to actually step away from your phone and I don't do that as much. My phone is literally with me 24/7. And if I don't respond to people, I'm sorry because, but my phone is always with me whenever I'm sleeping. It's right next to my head.
But you see, that's also the really funny thing that most people have their phones on them 24/7, but they refuse to text back quick to respond to a call or something, or they refuse to just acknowledge that other people are trying to reach them. And it's really funny to me because that's what a phone is for, isn't it? It's supposed to be a contactable device. Yeah.
I saw a post that said we shouldn't be expected to respond 24/7. Like you don't deserve my attention 24/7.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm separating, like, I don't, what is the word, equate? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't equate friendships. Like, what the hell is the word? I don't measure my friendships through my phone. Like, so just because I don't text someone back, it's not personal. It's more that I'm avoiding my phone rather than the person, because again, the phone is used for multiple purposes. It's not just for texting. It's not just for calling. So if I'm looking at my phone, I'm seeing 5 emails from work. I'm seeing, however many notifications from this app, It's not just the text message. It's everything else that comes along on the phone that I don't have the mental energy to text back. So again, it has nothing to do with the person. There's people that I haven't texted back in weeks, months, years. If you go through my phone, you'll see I genuinely I have not texted some people back, but it's more because I cannot be on my phone. I mean, I am on my phone. I'm contradicting myself, but I'm just saying sometimes like it just takes so much energy. Like recently I've just been so overwhelmed, and I think you were going to talk about this, but I've been very overwhelmed with work, with school. As soon as I get home, I'm putting my bag away. I'm getting ready for the next day, go to sleep, and then just do it again. And I've really been struggling with that. so that's kind of where I acknowledge that I'm trying to get better with that balance, you know, because realistically we need to live a little. Yeah. So long story short, it's not personal. No. It's just because there's some days that, like I said, I don't have the energy, or if I'm at work, I was texting you, I'm like, my boss is like right there. Like, I don't want to, text so much. For sure. But like I said, sometimes it's just a mental thing. Yeah. It's just like, I don't have the energy, not for you, but more so like just anyone, just my phone and,
Yeah. And I guess maybe that's the reason why calling is such a big no-no. I don't like calling. Yeah. I feel like it's just become the norm. You just can't call or video call or anything.
You said you prefer calling.
To get things done, for sure. Yeah. But things on the side, I'd rather text and stuff. And I feel like everyone's the same way. Yeah. It's just become the norm. And it's so interesting that it's become the norm. Back before cell phones, calling was the norm, you know? And it was much better to call than to show up at someone's house, basically, And so the fact that we have this evolution of what's good in society and what's like standard is really interesting to me. And I feel like if there was something even more distance than quicker than text, I don't even know what that would be. But if that were to come out, that would become the norm, and texting would be a no-no, and calling for sure a no-no, right? So I don't know. I think that's really interesting.
I feel bad though, because you'll have older family members.
Oh yeah.
They want to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
But then, like, for example, my grandma, she knows if she needs to get in, and I mean, she can call me anytime and I'll answer. But I think she knows that the way to really get my attention, like, text me, Yeah. And she's not a texter, but she knows that that's how she'll get my attention. But I know for her, she wants a phone call. Yeah. So I feel bad that there's that gap there, that like that certain people just want to hear your voice. They genuinely want to hear you. They want to connect with you. And texting is so disingenuous. I don't know if that's if I'm even. By the way, your word. Yeah.
Amalgamation.
Amalgamation.
Yes.
I've seen that word twice today.
Yes. Nice.
I was gonna take a picture and I didn't. And I'm like, wow, that's a real word.
Yeah, it's a real word.
But yeah, so texting is not genuine. And I think you were saying before, that's why you try to do like smiley faces, to show just some emotion there.
Yeah, something more.
Yeah.
No, I agree for sure. I forgot I was going to bring up something else before. But I really agree with all your points that you said. And I don't know. I still don't know if well, obviously you don't have to be present at all times, right? Like, it's okay to just let go and like let the world just run past you sometimes. And I think that's totally fine. But for sure, I feel like as a society, we should try to be much more accountable with our actions, because they end up becoming habits. And that's the wrong thing, or the wrong route, I guess we should take. And yeah, I don't know. It's just become much more. It's not even that technology has evolved so fast. I feel like just technology has been evolved. Technology is much more accessible now, and it's much easier to have an excuse to use said technology in a laid back sort of way, and I don't know, actually. That's it. Yeah.
Well, I think we spoke before about being alone with your thoughts.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that's another thing. That's whenever I said whenever I'm bored. Yeah. That's what I mean, is that I guess I'm not just used to just sitting and just not doing anything. But it's good for you. It's good to just kind of not have some kind of... Again, like the TV on, the radio on. It's good to be alone with just you. And I'm not good at that. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a habit that I need to get better at. But that's why I was even saying, like, literally from the moment that I get up, I will first of all put TikTok on. But then whenever I'm getting ready for work, I listen to music. So I'm never in silence. Right. Ever. Yeah. So that's why if, like you were saying, like if we're on the subway, if I'm in the Uber, like there was, I was in the Uber for like 30 minutes and I was on my phone the whole time. Yeah. And I knew that I was, and I was like, Christina, like just look out the window. You don't always have to be on the phone. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because my parents would always tell me that, especially my mom, like when we would go on a car ride, like look out the window, enjoy the sun, enjoy the air coming in, the breeze or whatever. Doesn't it feel nice? And as a kid, I always be like, no, I don't want to look out the window. I don't care about these trees. Like, just get me to the destination. But now I find myself, I guess, enjoying it more. I don't know what it is. Maybe, I don't know what it is. I remember having like Uber rides and stuff, and I would literally just sit back and just look out, and it was nice. And I think maybe because I don't give myself like the option to go on my phone or something.
That's what I'm saying. You're good about that.
Oh, I try to be. I feel like it's just like it's weird, but I'm abstaining. Is that the word? Like I'm just like not giving myself a reason to go on my phone. Like I don't have TikTok. And I have like my app's not on my home screen, like social media.
Oh.
So it's a little bit harder. Like I'd have to like look for them.
That's interesting.
And so little things like that, I feel like stop me from going on my phone. And not saying that I don't go on my phone, because I do. Sometimes I just go on like, I don't know, Instagram or any other platform and just scroll sometimes. But the fact that I try to limit it, I feel like goes a long way. Just abstaining from these certain, again, I say like excuses, but I don't mean like it's a bad thing, but like I just mean like it's easier to give in to it because it's already there, right?
Right.
So if I limit myself, then it's not as easy, right?
Well, you said the word habit, and it is. I mean, it is a habit.
Yeah, it's a habit. There you go.
I mean, like I said, if I'm sitting down, I don't have anything to do, literally just pick up the phone. I mean, you'll notice it too. It's an automatic like motion with your hands.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll automatically click on something without even realizing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's a habit. You're used to the action of picking it up, swiping here, going here.
Right? Yeah.
So it is important to break those habits.
Yeah.
And I was also listening to a podcast. He was saying, what was he saying? Something about, never mind.
It's okay. No, but I definitely get you. And I guess it's important because they creep up on you, and you really can't, habits and stuff. They really creep up on you in unexpected ways, and you don't even mean it sometimes. And you become very apologetic robots. Or like guilty about it afterwards. And I feel like it makes you feel worse, like, so it really is important to maybe try to like limit yourself. So that way you don't feel guilty. You don't feel like beating yourself up. Oh, why am I on my phone again? Like I should be enjoying the moment or whatever. I mean, cause it's okay. Like this, it's a habit. It happens. So just try again. And I know like it's really, really tough with, younger generations. Cause like you were saying, we grew up with these,
they grew up with iPhones.
Yeah, they grew up with iPhones, like fully decked out and everything, right? And we grew up with numpads. Like we had to double click, triple click on for a single letter. Yeah. And like my brother, he has his phone on him all the time. Like my younger sibling. And even during the movie, sometimes he'll just pick it up, and he'll watch the movie, but he'll at the same time also watch his phone and stuff. And I could catch him and be like, hey, you're not even watching the movie. Like, why aren't you watching the movie? And that's maybe why I like movie theater so much, because you're expected.
That's funny.
You're expected to drop everything,
that's
and I love that. The fact that we're all in sync. Like nobody has an excuse to go on their phone because it's very frowned upon in society, right? And even with games, right? Like we have a plethora of accessibility when it comes to entertainment now. Yeah. Like why would you choose to, I mean, at least for me, like I wouldn't see myself choosing if I was like 12, 13 years old again. I would never, ever say no to a video game. I would always 100% like, just give me that, right? And he has the options to, and yet he still goes on his phone, like it's just
I see.
Really interesting. Even if he plays, he still has it next to him. He still has music on. He still has maybe TikToks in the background when something's not happening on the screen, right? And it's becoming a really bad habit, I think. And so I tell him like, hey, when you're doing something like watching a movie, keep your phone on the side, like just leave it, because like I said, it's really easy just to go into your pocket, bring it back up and swipe. It's such an easy habit. And so that's also why I like to not charge my phone overnight. And I actually let it sort of die a little bit. that gives me more of a reason to keep it charging away from me during the day. So if I'm on the computer,
that's interesting.
It's not in my pocket. It's not next to me. It's very far away. I'd rather not get up and go to my phone, and I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it charging and stuff. Yeah,
that is really interesting.
So yeah, it's just little things. I feel like I said, I hate the feeling of feeling guilty. Like, why did I do that? I know I should be better. You know, I know I should not be doing this, but I did anyways. I hate the feeling of like beating myself up. So I'd rather just try to take little steps here and there to break the habit, and I feel better anyways. Yeah.
You know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
So I think about whenever I get home, right? Like, what else is there to do? Which that's such a bad way of thinking. But then I was thinking, you know, have you ever had, what are they called? When the power goes out? Power out.
Blackout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like panic. It's like, what do we do?
Yeah.
There's no power. There's no TV. There's no computer. And I kind of wonder if we had to go, I mean, let's say we still had like like our fridge was working, you know, like still our lights at least. But like,
sure.
if someone came in like the Grinch and just snooped away like our TVs and devices, we would be forced to do something else.
Yeah.
So what would we do? How would we spend our time? And that, I think, is the most organic way to spend your time, rather than being entertained by these devices. Then we would, like I said, be forced to pick up a book or color or, you know, I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we're just used to that constant like entertainment.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's just the way of the world now, you know?
Yeah, but it's making me feel like I'm disassociating.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I can't figure out if that's what it is, but it did click the other day because, like, again, we're constantly hearing something, listening to something, watching something, you know? So yeah.
That's how it is. I don't know.
It'd be like that.
I mean, if you watch like, have you seen The Matrix?
No.
Okay. Watch it. I think you'll find it interesting. Obviously, it's along the same lines of living in a simulation and stuff. And there's like so many theories or whatever about it. But it is really easy to trick your brain into believing things that aren't there, or things that are there, and you don't want to see them. Right.
Interesting.
So it's like it's always been there right in front of you.
Right.
But you just can't see it because you're so distracted by something else. And maybe that's why we're in this situation, because we don't need to think about the deeper impact. Like, why are these companies doing this? Why are these devices so good at attracting us? You know, how come nobody's really like thought about like the effects, or have studies, or maybe they have and we haven't looked at it, you know, like there's just no reason to do that because we're content, you know? So it's really easy to trick our brain. So I just find that fascinating. Yeah. So you were saying earlier how, like you were saying, like in the film industry, and we know about like the SAG-AFTRA contracts that just came about and stuff, and they're getting compensated more for their time and stuff. And I think that's great. But there's still I feel like there's still a problem, like you were saying, about these demanding work hours because of streaming services that are basically accelerating the industry in a much quicker way than it could produce. You know, people, these companies like Netflix or whatever are asking for all these kinds of shows and movies to provide to their customers. But there's only so much that we can put out there. There's only so much that we can do as human beings, you know? And I feel like we're at a very, very, very tricky spot in the entertainment industry right now, because at any moment it can blow either way. It could really demolish, or it could accelerate into something amazing. And I feel like really we're just trying to hold on. Like, that's all we're doing right now. We're just trying to do our best. We're just trying to hold on. And little steps like the contracts, like I was telling you about, are great, but we need to really tackle the the bigger issues. Like, we're not robots, like we said, and we can't be expected to work all these hours for these companies that are demanding too much. Right. I think, I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather have, like, I'm sure you would rather have the option of like not working 5 days a week. Would you? Yeah.
Well, but also I like work.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that goes back to our conversation. If we didn't have any responsibilities, like what would we do? And I think that depending on the job, that if you find something that you enjoy, you know, it's getting like that passion in you, you know?
Yeah.
So I do like working, but I know that also, like we were saying, it is a means for survival too. Yeah. So I think that's not always perfect, where someone can find a job that they like, or, you know, you have to do what you can.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking about, in general, the money versus you liking the job.
Yeah.
So if you had an option to choose, like, for example, I told you whenever I worked at this luxury spot, and it was pretty good money. It was really good money, and it was very sad to leave that job because the money was very good, but I was miserable. I was miserable there. And I just realized, like, this is not worth it. What happened?
Sorry. I'm good. Go for it.
I told you, I remember that I was leaving the luxury place and I went to a non-luxury place, and I was telling certain people, like, oh, I decided to leave. I'm going to this new place. And everyone's like, well, why? Like, you're downgrading. Like, why are you doing that? You know, so the step that I made wasn't impressive, but I had to do it for my sanity, for my peace. For
yourself,
and I think that, again, if you have the opportunity to do what you can to make yourself happier or less stressed, you know, then it's worth it.
That's
sure.
Definitely it. Yeah. I think that's the answer for sure. But it is hard. It's definitely hard. I get that. And then there's other people that like just working, like you said, just constantly working. I feel like I might be one of those people that like to be so busy.
Like all the time busy.
Yeah, like always doing something, and I hate just not doing anything.
But you're good about like playing games or like going out to the park. Like, you also have...
Oh, for sure. But it's more like it's not even like it is like a break, like free time and like spending time for myself. But it's almost like a planned break in a way, you know. And I don't know if that's a bad thing, you know, to like be like, okay, I should do this. Let me force myself to take a break and let me, you know, I don't know, plan out things here and there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I almost, in a way, I feel like sometimes I'd rather be busy. I'd rather be doing, you know, something else.
But doesn't that mean that you're passionate?
I think so.
Okay.
I feel like, I was gonna say, I feel like that's it too. Like you said, as long as you're passionate about something, I feel like you should just work for it, and I think that's fine. Yeah. But a lot of times you're not. You know, it's a lot of times you're not working your passionate job. You're not working your dreams and stuff. I don't know.
Do you think it's possible for everyone to have a dream job?
That's a good question. That's a hard question.
Because we don't have an option. We have to work.
Yeah.
So the dream job, like, again, like you said, if we didn't have to work, would people still have a dream job?
I think so. I think people would still actually, even now, still have at least the option to have a dream job. I remember Jim Carrey was like, the greatest lesson I learned from my dad was to always go after your dreams, because even if you don't, you still might fail at something that you hate, you know. And he was saying that his father always wanted to be a comedian, but never did it because he was too afraid. So he ended up taking a safe job as an accountant.
Okay.
And then like 20-30 years down the line, still fired him, you know. And he ended up jobless, and they were struggling afterwards. And so he was like, might as well go after something that you like and fail at it. Because if you go after something that you hate, you might still end up failing at it. So
I've never had a dream job.
Really?
Like, I don't have that one, oh my God, I have to have this job.
I think that's good. But
why?
No, I was going to say because it depends. If you have a dream job really early on in life, that might end up being a little
disappointing.
Yeah, you might end up disappointed in you, you know? You might end up feeling like that wasn't actually your dream job, you know? And it might take years away from your life and you might regret it, you know?
Right.
So I think it's okay. I think that's fine. That's how I see it. But what were you going to say?
No, I just know that I like helping people.
Oh, yeah.
But that could mean anything. And that doesn't mean, like, for example, I really am into psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I always have been, but I could never be like a counselor or a therapist because I would cry with you. I would straight up just take all those problems home with me. Even let's say if I were to get into like nursing or, you know, caring for someone, I don't think I could. I think that it would just hurt me too much to see what other people are going through.
That's true. That's true.
But in general, like I said, I do like helping people. Yeah.
But I think that's a great thing though, because no, I think you're right. Like maybe there is definitely a line between caring too much and caring for someone else that you're helping out. But I think it's better to care either way instead of not care, because there are lots of people out there.
I would love to not care.
There's lots of people out there that don't care and they make a living out of it. But I don't know. I feel like you should care definitely in some of those jobs. You know, there's lots of people out there that are, you know, they're great professionals, lawyers, doctors, or whatever, individuals with terrible personalities, terrible bedside manners. You know, they have a lot of people that look up to them. And they're just not setting a great example of how to be just a good human being, you know, and it goes a long way. Maybe it won't affect them in their lifetimes, but it'll affect the people that they work with. It'll affect the people that look up to them. And so I feel like it's better to care than not to care at all. You know, it brings a lot to the table. Actually, I was watching Grey's Anatomy. It's a really fun show. And there was an episode where one of the main characters was worried that she cared so much, you know, because she's a very caring person. And as a surgeon or whatever, someone that has to be in a medical field, there's a very fine line. Yeah, you have to remove yourself from the situation at all times. But it's good to care at least a little bit. It's good to at least have a little bit of care than to be a static, stoic robot, you know, because you help people out. You help. It's your job to be there to help, and in order to help you have to care, you know. So I think it's, I don't know,
like it goes hand in hand.
Exactly. Kind of thing. It's better to care than to not care at all, because if you don't care, then I feel like you lose that touch with whoever you're helping with, you know. I don't know. I mean, I've even told you, like, if I watch movies or shows and there's like an intense scene, I mean, I feel like it's happening to me. Like, it's just it's so intense. There was this episode on Charmed. Have you seen Charmed? Okay. But I have heard of it.
Yeah, it's an older show. But there was a scene. It's a little bit older.
Oh, sure. But not too old. Go for it.
So I think like 90s, no?
Oh, I don't know. I just never thought of it as too old.
Okay. So, but it's not a new show. Anyway.
Okay, sure. It's not a new show.
So one of the characters, I think someone put a spell on her where she was literally feeling the pain of other people. I don't know if it was physical and emotional. I don't remember, but like someone had a toothache and she was literally feeling like the person's toothache.
Wow.
And she was, I think, hearing everyone's thoughts. So she locked herself in a room to get away from everyone's like feelings, and because it was just too much to bear.
Right.
But that's how I feel sometimes. Like, if someone is upset, or I literally will carry that with me as if it's happening to me. And like I would say I'm caring or empathetic, like it's to a fault. Like I really wish I didn't feel that deeply. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there? Wow, I don't even know. That's cool.
Like Dexter, I told you. I was watching New Blood, which you haven't watched.
No, not at all.
And I told you the first time I watched it, the last episode, I was crying like crazy.
Yeah.
You would think something happened. Honestly, you would think something happened to me. I mean, I was like bursting out loud. Right. And then I watched it again actually last week, and it's been I think maybe a year since I watched it. I was crying again, and it's because I was watching Dexter, and just his facial expressions were just killing me. I was like, Dexter, no, like, don't be sad. Like, but it's because I was just watching him. Yeah. I was imagining what he was feeling, what he was going through in the moment. And that's what got me, you know? So
interesting.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's like
It's
bad.
horrible, Dennis. It's so bad.
I personally don't think it's bad. I think it's great. I think it's great that you care. And I think it speaks to the I don't know, to the show that they do a good job.
They did wonderful.
Yeah, I mean that's what they wanted to do, and they did it.
Yeah,
so it's great.
I think it's good. It.
Maybe I would. Yeah, I think I definitely need to reach out more in terms of like movies and shows because I'm not a very big show watcher. But I think it's great.
I get attached to characters for sure.
Yeah,
I get like a little. Like I love Breaking Bad. I think I was telling you, and I'll watch shows like more than once.
Yeah.
And I get like obsessed. Like I wanted to buy like Breaking Bad posters, and then I wanted to buy like Dexter. You know.
Yeah.
But once I find my show that I like that show. Like it's hard for me to get into new shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great though. I really think it's really cool, especially if you talk to someone that's just as obsessed with the show, you know, like you really understand what they thought about when they watched it, you know, that's just another connection to make with someone.
So that said, anybody that's listening to us, tell me what you think about Dexter New Blood and Breaking Bad.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Right now.
I want to know. And did you cry? Did Dexter make you cry? You know?
Tell me all about it because I have no idea. I've never watched these shows. What is TV? I don't know.
You live under a rock?
I do. I only play video games and watch movies.
And actually produce.
Sure. I guess so. Music, video games, movies. That's my life.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have. Shows? No. Books? No. That's it.
Did you know that you're in a squeaky chair today?
Yeah. I was noticing. I was hoping it would stop.
Is it driving you crazy?
Absolutely.
That's
it's really horrible.
Squeak.
Oh, well. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I guess that was our talk on
Things Your Friends Don't Talk About podcast on
Thanks
YouTube and Spotify and Instagram and TikTok.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Farewell, my friends.